Jason?
Yeah.
The workspace that you made, which one is it? Is it Road to Left version 1 or 2?
First one, 2.
Version 2.
Yeah, so I delete the other ones.
There you go.
Test. 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 Oh.
Are you streaming?
I will be. Yep, at 7.
I didn't know you get the link before the live. That's nice.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out actually. What? But this is weird. Look, I want to paste.
That's weird. Even if you like press.
They'll do it first, and then maybe. Yeah.
All right.
That's weird.
Whatever.
Great job, meetup. Oh, sorry. Hey! Hi. I was about to come and try and find you.
I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you think I'm really annoying if I shoot with flash? It's super hard to
Just do it before. Just do it before they start and like. Well, they're starting now actually.
I might just shoot with flash later, and when people try the VR, so they won't be annoyed. It's better light.
Okay. That should be fine. You like some photos coming up?
Yeah. The flash, this one's really bad. I should have brought one. Right?
Oh no, you gotta leave at like 6 a.m. Yeah.
It's better?
That's much better.
It's better?
Maybe get a little right.
Let's go right.
No, this is not my dream.
Nice.
I'm working on a new product. So most experiences are I'm literature. So you can have it, you can have it very eventually with sunglasses and stuff, you'll be able to look at the table and have a holographic look. That's going to be the spot. That's our goal. It's not how much it's a side project.
Sit at the table?
Focusing on so you take 5 for 2. You are longest in 10. You have 6 minutes. And the other side is just so you know, I'm gonna name you.
You already told me.
Fine, then I'll stop telling you this.
I don't know. Tell me about Intrepid.
I don't get out. I never get out. But really, like, it's already set up. It's usually puzzle piece that fits in itself something like that.
All right, thank you everyone for coming out tonight. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the 57th meetup of Boston VR. I'm Greg Herndon, and the lead organizer of Boston VR. We have some great speakers tonight. So Colin over here from Greenlight Insights will be our first speaker, and we have Chris and Aaron from Next Computing, and friends from Boris VR, Boris FX, over here in the corner. We also have plenty of demos, and afterwards, run Firebrand Same will be downstairs. So we have a few announcements to go through before we get started. And I just want to take a moment of silence. Just to remember Altspace VR and kind of recognize what they were able to do. So for those that don't know, they recently shut down as last week. There might be a few servers still going. They haven't really officially shut down, but the last date that they said they're going to shut down is August 3rd, and they were going to get around to funding. It fell through at the last minute, and within less than a week, they're saying we're shutting off the servers. So if you don't know what Altspace was, it was where you could go on. We even had some of our meetups in Altspace, where people could be a part of Boston VR in VR at home. It was just a good way to meet people virtually, hang out virtually. There were even talk hosts that would have their show in Altspace, so you could virtually attend their show and watch it live with your virtual avatar. So there's still other things like this out there. So Facebook's been putting out Facebook Spaces. We'll have VR chat, so more 3D, who was back here in March with the new Boston VR. Their avatar system is used in VR chat. So it's very similar to Altspace, but we definitely want to thank Altspace VR for their support of Boston VR. So believe it or not, Bruce Wooden was very instrumental in helping get us get off the ground. And he was one of the founders of Altspace. And we just really want to say thank you, Bruce, and thank you, Altspace, for our community time, not for just our community, but just VR as a whole and the social VR scene. So it's just really surprising they went from 35,000 monthly users to now not being a company. But thank you, Altspace. So if this is your first time being at a Boston VR event, there are lots of different ways you can get involved in Boston VR. So we have a Google group, we have a LinkedIn group. You can tweet at us at any time. But what things we're really trying to push right now is our Slack group. So just bostonvr.slack.com. There's sign-ups in the meetup events. Pretty much all the events have a sign-up link in there. And so there you just come in if you need help with a project, you're looking for job postings on a project, anything like that. Come into our link. Our LinkedIn is a good place to do job postings. Our Slack group is a great place to look and get help from other people. And if you just want to play games with us, we're also trying to push our Steam group. So we're also looking for a community manager if someone wants to volunteer. So that would be helping organize some of these events and posting content for our Slack group. And so we're a 501c nonprofit. Everyone here is a volunteer. We also have a podcast, so it's the Virtuality Podcast on iTunes, as well as Google Play and SoundCloud as well. And I think we are also pushed to Spotify last month. And so what we do is we bring in people that come to Boston VR, and we just, as well as people working on projects in Boston, just trying to give our community a broader reach outside of just the meetups, and for you to be able to be a part of the community on your way to work in the morning as well. So Discover is one of our recent partners who's helped pay for a lot of the device library that we have. So we have an Oculus Rift now because of them that we're going to be loaning out to the community for free. So watch out because there's going to be forms coming out for almost everything. So it's either from announcing things here at our events. And so anyway, back to Discover. They want to know what you're working on. So if you are working on a project and would like Discover to say, hey, we partnered with Boston VR and here's this person with this project who we're helping, or would like them to communicate that, hey, this person's working on this cool VR project, talk to us and let us know what you're working on. So that's just you voluntarily letting us know about your project and letting us share that with Discover. So then, because they do events where they'll be in Chicago or some fintech thing, and they always want VR people to come in and kind of show off what they're doing. So by letting us know what you're working on, we can also let them know what you're working on so you can be involved in those kinds of events. We really want to give a shout out to the CIC for hosting our event tonight. And Greenlight Insights, who will be our first speaker. And Next Computing and Boris FX as well. So thank you, all of you, for coming out. We know it takes a lot of your time to come out here, effort, set up these demos. We just wanted to thank you for coming out and devoting your time to our group. So afterwards, we have a whole lot more demos than are here. But Infinite VR will be back over here. Row 2 is over here in the corner. You guys are going to be moving to the corner over there once you're ready to go. And then we have another, yep. So you want to shout it?
Yep, back by the couch.
It's the East End.
Just back
And there are any other demos we missed? I think Linky VR is here. Yep. And then just the community announcements. So Academy VR, so if you're interested in just trying to figure out how do I get started in VR, how do I work in VR, academyofvr.org. They're offering a free webinar that you can go on and learn. So it's August 24th. And just academyofvr.org. I'll send another announcement about it in our letter. But keep an eye out for that because it's a really great resource if you want to learn how to work in VR or just work on a project. And then we'll talk about it.
Hi, my name is Diane Williams, and I'm a member of the Boston AR and Boston VR group. And I had the great pleasure of being one of the organizers of a fantastically successful AR/VR hackathon we had last year at the MIT Media Lab. We had 350 hackers, designers, all different subject matter expertise, sponsors, volunteers, judges. I was one of the judges. And we're having it again here October 6th through 9th. And I would like to encourage you to apply. I'm in charge of diversity. And yes, we want to get women and minorities, but I'm also in charge of different subject matter expertise. And we were looking at plenty of other things besides gaming. We had everything from machine learning to poetry to healthcare to just like if it's cool, it's awesome. If you have some kind of background, designers, we definitely encourage. We required a designer to be on every team, of course. So we had a high school student who was an amazing Unity developer, so we don't have anything about age. It's just if you're cool and awesome, I encourage you to apply. October 6th through 9th in the Media Lab.
I'm going to leave this up there for a few more seconds. Let's soak in October 6th through 9th. So this was last year was the largest VR AR hackathon to date in the world. So it's definitely something that is probably going to be even bigger this year. So definitely keep it on your track. And if you do anything in VR AR, or if you just have a really unique skill set and you've not done anything VR AR before, you should probably still apply to this because you're going to be part of what makes something really unique and cool come out of that. All right, so Row VR. I don't actually know much about it. I was hoping the person who sent me this would talk about it. But they are having a Kickstarter soon, so Ridgeline Labs is the name of it.
Here. I can summarize it really quick.
Yeah, sure.
So Rover, as it's called, is basically VR dogs. So they've built an entire game that allows you to basically adopt a dog and then raise it. They're working with AI that you can actually teach the dog new tricks. They're launching a Kickstarter tonight, so we'll probably have something in the newsletter sent out about that.
And we can also post a link to it in the event, so you can come and do that. All right, and so Nick LeBlanc has been started his own little VR experience, and so hello@vrgeek.com is looking for people to help them out with that. So if you're interested in getting involved in a physical space VR experience, so just you can reach out to Nick, and it's out in Hampton Beach. It's kind of targeting more tourist vacation audience. So it's very different from what you typically hear from a VR space kind of scene.
Hi there. I'm Kevin Hayes. I'm from Mars Productions. My biggest client is the National Fire Protection Association. And we've been making educational projects for them that teach firemen and first responders how to deal with alternative fuel vehicles, electric cars, gaseous fuel cars, energy storage systems, things like that. These have all been 3D projects on Unity, WebGL, iOS, Android. But they've recently reached out to me to do a VR experience for an upcoming trade show. They'll have 10 workstations, and the idea is that the experience will be on the home of the future, and it will have a lot of the things that I just mentioned, energy storage system on the garage, solar panels on the roof, and basically give people it's an opportunity to walk through that space. I have not done any VR yet. It's been my first project. So I'm looking for experienced developers to partner with to help me with everything from planning to production. My immediate need right now is a well thought out proposal and a budget. And then next, partners with somebody for production and I brought some of the existing stuff with me for anybody who wants to see what it's all about. And,
all right, thanks, Kevin. All right, Alan, you again.
Me again, yay! Hello, so my name is Alan. I'm announcing an event that is happening in 24 hours tomorrow. It's the PlayLabs MIT Demo Day. So 10 weeks ago, 13 companies were accepted into an accelerator program. They were given $20,000 and said, make something cool. The rules were it was playful technologies, PlayLabs. So tomorrow, they're going to be demoing what they're able to accomplish over the summer. For example, Rover is part of that program. They're able to build most of that over the summer. We're doing holographic escape rooms using the HoloLens for mixed reality puzzle games. It's in the big dome. There's going to be pizza there, which is always good. There's going to be a lot of investors there. So if you're in VR and you're looking for investors, we know that there's going to be about 30 investors who are going to be in that room. There are also going to be a bunch of people who are watching online. You can watch it online and physically, so definitely look check it out.
We have a sister organization, Boston AR. So it's another meetup group. So BostonAR.org. They also have a forum for their device library as well. We kind of share the same devices. You can sign up to them as well for, say, the HoloLens, and like we're doing the Oculus Rift. But the same forum, you can request everything through that. And then at Boston AR meetup, if you want to create out them. And if they're also looking for anyone to demo at their events, so the same goes for us. If you ever want to, if you're working on anything you want to demo it, Boston AR and Boston VR are great places to come in and do that. So it doesn't cost you anything. Come in, show it off, get feedback, which is really valuable to creators in general. So our next event is going to be September 25th. Unfortunately, due to legalness, we can't actually announce who it is yet. And as soon as everything gets finalized, we'll announce it. But I highly suggest you go ahead and sign up for this event right now. And it's going to be a really good one. And Boston AR has a few upcoming events that they haven't been on yet either. We do sell T-shirts. They're 15 each, and because our 501c nonprofit, it is tax deductible. We can do the receipt on that. Yes, so he's wearing a shirt right now. And just a reminder that please take photos of our events because we typically forget to take them, and just post them, upload them to the media page. And because we are 501c, we just want to thank all our volunteers who all put this all together. So it is a whole lot more work than just a few emails or phone calls. So we have people that work from our website to our demo days and beyond. And Jason, who is kind of a right-hand man in all of this, and both of Jeff's for being our founder. But we're always looking for more volunteers, so if you do want to get involved with 20 positions, just from helping with demos or equipment, and just a really good way to end up meeting a whole lot of people in VR. So it is definitely worth your time to put in. So I've met countless people in the VR community here in Boston who's been part of it, and it definitely is like what you put in is what you get out kind of organization. And we always, if you have an idea for how we can make our events better, let us know. And yeah, just talk to me, post something on that group, tweet at us. There's plenty of ways to talk to us. So there's a bar downstairs, Firebrand Saints. So after the event, we're going to be there. And now we can kind of move on. And I've got your announcements. We have one more, so while I'm saying them up, Jeff can make an announcement.
I forgot to I forgot to ask you to make this slide. 1 week from today, from 4:30 to 6, I'll be at the Autodesk Build Space down in the Seaport District, giving a talk on VR and AR for construction, industry, and architectural design. And I'll be doing some demos there. It will be for the Revit users group. Revit is a 3D model used by architects. So I'll be focusing on some tools that they like, but it should be interesting for anyone.
I think it's more like the longest I've seen our announcements go. So it's kind of awesome to us to just see that there's this much VR activity here in Boston that makes these announcements take so long. So by all means, please do contribute more. And we're more than willing to help you figure it out. And so now, without further ado, I'd like to welcome up Colin Mann from Greenlight Insights to come in and work with you.
Thanks, Greg. Big thank you to Boston VR for giving us the space to present. It's awesome. You guys rock. So Greenlight Insights. Who are we? We're an intelligence leader in virtual reality and augmented reality, mixed reality, virtual reality, whatever we come up with next month to call it. So what this means essentially is that we're a research firm based in San Francisco. We follow the latest trends, market announcements, investment cycles, acquisitions. We publish a series of reports every year, our largest being the Virtual Reality Industry Report, which we publish at the beginning of the year and then update two times throughout the year with current data and forecasting projections so that we can accurately measure market growth. We also do the Consumer Report where we track what users think, what consumers are saying about VR. Can we do a quick survey for what's the best-selling VR headset, do you think? So show of hands if you think the Samsung Gear is the best-selling VR headset right now. Okay. Show of hands if you think the Google Daydream is the best-selling VR headset right now. Oh man, poor Google.
Does cardboard count as one thing, or is it a category?
Cardboard counts as something. Who thinks the Google Cardboard is the best-selling right now?
What if people got it for free? Does that count as a sale?
It does for Google. Let's go Oculus Rift. HTC Vive. It is, by far and away, the Google Cardboard. Followed by the Samsung Gear.
I was wondering.
Who won second? So let's see, that's our industry report, our consumer report. We also recently published Oh yeah, the LDVRE report, I forgot that one. LDVRE, which I'm going to talk a lot more about in a second, is location-based virtual reality entertainment. What does this mean? I'll get into it. And last but not least, we also have our augmented reality industry report, which is a first time published this year, which we're really excited about. We're expanding into forecasting the growing AR industry, and there's just a lot of really cool stuff happening there. But to move on to tonight's presentation, it's all about LDVRE. So what do we mean when we talk about it? Oh, back up one. So LDVRE, which for the purposes of this presentation, I'm going to focus just on North America, Asia Pacific, specifically China, whole different ballgame over there. But LDVRE you can break into 3 categories. So there's Hyper VR or Warehouse VR, which if you've heard of The Void, Nomadic, Zero Latency, these are 3 big players in this space. So Hyper VR takes a large open area with full mobile VR headsets and usually a peripheral controller that tends to be a gun, and puts users in the space as if they were going into laser tag or paintball or some other form of arena, puts the VR headset in them, and custom maps the warehouse to fit with the experience. So if there's a zombie survival, then they'll lay out tables and boxes that will be mapped to virtual objects so that the user in the space can actually touch them and kind of cheat a little bit on the haptic feedback. The second segmentation is VR arcades, which they're common. They're growing everywhere right now. So I guess IMAX would be the most famous representative in that category. They opened one center in Los Angeles, another one just opened in New York. There's a lot of smaller startups, particularly in the Midwest. I'm not really sure why that is, but why not? And last but not least, we have VR-enhanced theme park rides. Primarily, this is roller coasters. Six Flags has been really leading the charge on this one. But we're seeing more and more like SeaWorld is diving in. Pun intended. Cedar Point is getting on board, and Disney has recently unveiled some VR attractions, but they're more actually in line with the Void. But I would expect that they will follow suit. So yeah, those are the 3 categories to talk about. So, but before we move on, so I want you to think of a year where virtual reality is being pushed to the mainstream. People want to get it into consumer culture. You can go to a location, you can try a virtual reality headset, you can play an experience that'll surround you with haptic controllers, with holding your hands. So just think of this incredibly modern day year. That year was 1991. And virtuality led the way with this and similar devices like it, which as you can see is really bulky. So users would go out and they would use these setups for these rigs, and they would try very limited experiences. Back then it really wasn't about the content, mostly because technology had no way of creating compelling content. It was all about the novelty. But users didn't really, and for that reason users didn't really like it. It was super expensive, very short. The sanitary conditions of wearing a really bulky, giant plastic headset, like the 57 that day, not good. So 3 years after it started, it died, dead by 1994. Fast forward to last year, and it made a comeback. So the Void opened up in Linden, Utah. That's where they're headquartered. That's where they have a conceptual proving ground. But their first experience was actually in Manhattan, and it was a Ghostbusters-themed game called Ghostbusters Dimensions, where as you can see, we're talking about Hyper VR. So these are all projected on them, but this is the backpack PC. They're holding a gun, and really they're moving just through an abandoned warehouse with a clock and chairs, so if the users want to touch them, they can. But all the while, the VR is projecting that they're dressed as Ghostbusters. Six Flags also debuted its VR enhanced roller coaster program, and the New Revolution was the first in that line. So to just illustrate how exactly it's changed, the technology, which was then that, now is this in the VR arcade. So as you can see, it's gotten a lot more mobile. And this is actually a 1991 game called Dactyl Terror, where I believe that's a gun, and that's a giant hula hoop or something, and up there is the pterodactyl. And then that is Survios' raw data, so obviously it's a little bit different now. So our report, we created an entire global forecast. As I said, tonight we're going to be talking primarily about North America. But as you can see, Asia Pacific is the leader in location-based virtual reality, and that's not going to change. Right now, we expect the market's going to reach overall global, it's going to be 1.2 billion by 2021. And it was, as we said, almost 70% of that's Asia Pacific. So what do consumers want? These are all from North American respondents, which is really great to have. So Greenlight research indicates the strongest interest is in VR theaters. Now, why this is probably a matter of theaters is a lot more encompassing than arcades for most North American consumers. Arcades didn't last that long over here. It's a very male-dominated demographic, younger kids mostly, whereas everyone goes to the theater. And we saw this overall, like the biggest divide with interest was many more guys wanting to go to VR arcades than women. But across the board, VR theaters are winning. Like there's tremendous interest there, which means there's tremendous opportunity for every single theater chain in North America to take advantage of this space. But there are still 5 significant barriers to LBVRE growth. So we got technology, content, legality, location, and pricing. I'm going to go through all of these in detail. So one, the technology. Obviously, as I showed, VR has come a long way since 1991, but it's still not perfect, especially if you don't have a ton of money to afford the latest Star VR or, Magic Leap whenever they release something, or, the HTC Link when that comes out in Japan. So many startup arcades that we see still use the HTC Vive, so if you can still make out, that fun wire is not going to cut it in location-based virtual reality. Consumers don't feel safe. There's a tremendous safety risk. And secondly, you can't, this microphone kind of shows, very limited with where I can go and what I can do. Secondly, the Vive, while a really impressive system, this is as close to multiplayer as we get. The Vive doesn't work with multi-user experiences in the same boundary system. There's a lot, and even putting so many together, as you all notice whenever we do tons of demos in this room, interference starts to happen, programs break down, things don't work as well as they should. Now HTC is working to fix these problems. They've got a peripheral coming out that makes the Vive wireless. They've got another one coming out that helps boundary systems work in open spaces without getting crossed up so much. But these are expensive. This doesn't mean anything to you like IMAX, but it means a lot to a startup which has spent all of its investment funds just getting the operation running. The second problem is the content. So looking at these, we've got Job Simulator, Eagle Flight, Space Fire Trainer, Arizona Sunshine. I forget the name of this one. Contraption? Something.
Fantastic Contraption.
There we go. Thanks, Greg. And Tilt Brush. So all of these are LBVRE experiences. What is the problem here? Anyone take a guess?
They require a lot of CPU power.
They all do, that's true. But there's something else.
People don't own headsets to play them.
Well, that would stop them at home. But in comparison with location, like if I'm going out and this is what's available.
How long do you want to spend in VR?
Okay, certain things like Eagle Flight makes good for shorter space pirate trainers, not the deepest experience.
Single player experiences?
Most of them are single player. They do have multiplayer modes, but Job Simulator is single player. That is a good one. I don't know if that's a problem. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. Well, I guess what I'm trying to get is, I'll ask you, why did traditional arcades fail in North America? What happened?
Consoles.
Yeah, so every single one of these experiences, like these great selling, is all available for home VR use already. And many users can't afford HTC Vive, but a lot of them can afford a PlayStation VR. As we're seeing, this is a fast-selling system that's moving units a lot quicker than expected. So there's two big primary concerns for content in the LBDR sector right now. One is exclusivity, or content that's specifically designed to maximize the medium. And the second is, Craig suggested, is there's a lot of just single player. Which if you're going out, you're getting all your friends together, last thing you really want is be like, okay, now you watch me play, you wait 15 minutes, then I'm going to play, and then we're going to let them play. It's just not great. Like, it's not fun. It goes against the whole nature of doing something together. So this is a big problem right now that companies are working to address. Then we have the legality system. So Oculus Rift, you can't use it if you run a VR arcade. It's completely illegal. They don't provide an enterprise license. They will do it for some cases with Hyper VR, like the Void used to use a Rift before they moved to their, I think it's called the Rapture headset. And then another thing is something like the Vive port, which just unveiled its beta, which is a great, like, if you're trying to set up an arcade and you want all your software neatly aligned, also very illegal in North America. Don't use it. It's being set up for China only right now, which is one of the reasons China's so far ahead. So these are problems that we saw when we interviewed a lot of lower budget, limited resources VR arcades, is that they don't know what to do and they're not even fully aware of whether they're breaking the law or not. And this also causes a lot of worry on the developer side because developers aren't fairly compensated if the arcade is using a pirated system or an illegal system. So we spoke to developers who are really wary of piracy. And then there's also the location hurdle. So as you can see, New York City is a great spot because it's got over 8 million people. But Clinton, Michigan, which is also a city in America, has about 100,000. And just to give some, some perspective, Shanghai, 24 million. So what we have seen is that LBVRE can survive outside the cities, but it's difficult. What we've seen is locations that kind of piggyback onto existing traffic areas. And these can be anything from museums to bars to sports arenas to anything. But right now, the big thing is that unless you have high foot traffic, it becomes very, very difficult to keep up a repeated user base that will support your establishment. And then so we got the pricing hurdle. What is the ideal pricing method? This is a big question that people are still trying to figure out. Traditional arcades priced by life, LBVRE prices by time. So the average price of a North American VR arcade is about $35. So this goes anywhere between 12 and over 100. So we saw some that were offering like an hour package for $125, which if you think about it, so you go, you get your friends, you go, you pay $125 for an hour, and then you play Tilt Brush. How likely are you going to be to go back there? I don't care what you draw, how pretty it is. It's not happening. And to give, again, some contrast, an hour to visit, I think it's Namco Bandai's brand new VR arcade in Tokyo with all its cutting edge, like great IPs like Dragon Ball Z and Gundam. I think that's like $12, and that's like a high-end one. So Asia in general, much cheaper by the hour, which is one of the reasons why their users don't care about the lacking content so much. So when technology leaps forward, certain companies can race ahead and claim a spot. Like we saw this, the internet brought Netflix, and Netflix took down Blockbuster. Before the internet happened, Blockbuster was everywhere. Afterwards, Netflix came along, and there's no more Blockbuster. Was there one left? There's like a Twitter account for the last Blockbuster, and it's really sad. So we don't really see a Netflix yet. The closest thing I can think of is The Void, which is making a lot of headway, and they just actually signed a partnership with Disney to bring Star Wars themed experiences to 2 of Disney's biggest theme parks, so I'm sure that's going to be huge. But other than that, it's really still kind of the established players making the shots. So like IMAX is a clear leader right now for VR arcades, and this is because they have resources. They can make partnerships with companies like Star VR and provide the consumer with an experience that they can't get anywhere else. They can get the best IP. Since they're IMAX, they already have a lot of great deals with the movie industry. That's why things like John Wick Chronicles and that Mummy one, which probably sold more than the movie did, came out only in IMAX. So they're also able, when technology comes along, they can just upgrade. They don't care about, again, like a lot of the VR arcades in America have been founded by people who saw the HTC Vive, thought it looked cool, got $6,000 and opened a shop. So like if that's what you did, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, you need to spend $500 more on every device to keep it working, it's tough. But where is it going to go? So how many here have tried Resume? They're kind of all over the place. Resume is kind of great. You know, I'm not just talking about the experience, that's pretty subjective, but to my mind it shows that gyms could be a next location for LDVRE to really catch on. Like research has shown again and again that people like doing things when they're fun. So if we can gamify exercise, then that's huge. Another area where it's already starting to take off is retail. So there's several companies already using VR to help consumers along the buyer path. Excuse me. And this is primarily done for outdoor stores, places that will show things like tents with full setup, so you can get in, look at the tent, see what it actually looks like before you buy it, set it up. You can see what it looks like on top of a mountain, by a waterfall, all these nice virtual trips. So what is LVRE? Is it a theater or an arcade? I don't think it's either one. And this is now starting to transcend into, you know, the conjecture of what's coming. Right now, it's being referred to in terms of existing mediums, but the truth is, it just isn't one of them. Like to call it a VR theater, well, theater is you go watch something on a screen. You're not really involved. You're a very passive participant. The very immersive nature of VR kind of makes that impossible. You don't ever just watch VR. But by that token, to call it an arcade, well, this is an arcade machine in an arcade program in a VR headset. So you can go visit an arcade in VR. It totally encapsulates it. So I don't think it's just an arcade either. I think people are still figuring out exactly what this can be. And how will AR play into it? We're already starting to watch this because it is so huge. Arguably, Pokemon Go, while it may or may not be real AR, is one of the first location-based AR experiences, and it's massive. And it shows that if augmented reality really wants to get serious with this space, you don't even need to build an arcade. You don't need to build a theater, you don't need to build anything. You just need access to a phone. So we're going to be watching this space very, very closely as it develops. And that's it. Thank you very much. Any questions? Yes?
So you were saying that virtual reality arcades are illegal in North America?
They're not illegal, but many of the popular programs that people use in them are.
Oh, it's the program. Okay, I was just trying to get clarity on that because I was like, I know of some like VR arcades. I'm like, are they all illegal?
They're all illegal. They should be shut down.
So it's really just the software that.
It's the software and some of the hardware. As I said, any virtual VR arcade in North America that's using an Oculus Rift is breaking the law.
So, okay, that makes sense. I was just trying to get some clarity.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yes. Do you know why Oculus made that choice?
We do not. Who knows?
Yes.
I read that Disney, this was a little while ago, but not that long ago, Disney had decided not to include VR in their parks. Mm-hmm. Obviously, what they're doing with the Void is it's going to be in downtown Disney, so it's just outside the park. But do you have any insight on whether they really want to just leave VR out of the parks and not have it part of the experience? And I mean, I would think that basically something like VR could replace going to the parks because it's almost just as good when you have it at home. But I don't know. Do you have a feeling that maybe that's one of the things that they're afraid of?
I don't get that sense from. Well, I mean, sorry. So Disney, as I said, they didn't want. I've seen that interview and I've listened to other interviews where I think that was Bob Iger who gave that one. Yeah. So he was commenting on the fact that Disney doesn't want to be a so they are deciding to because everyone's doing that. So what I think Disney wants to do, what they will eventually do, is emerge with, I mean, one of the companies they're working with is Magic Leap, so very advanced augmented reality that's going to come in for their rides. And I expect that the Void partnership will lead to other ventures into VR. And I think Disney's main goal is to just release an experience that's just heads and shoulders above what else is out there.
Another question.
No, go for it.
What are your thoughts on how Ready Player One, that movie, might affect virtual reality in the future?
Well, I mean, I think the book caused a lot of excitement. That would be a fair thing to say. So, Spielberg's movies generally gross very well. And I think if it's well reviewed, more people will see it. Like, obviously, we're starting to see the Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic, that really do have an effect on revenue. So I think the movie could do what the book did, but for a larger audience, just again, we're seeing awareness raise for VR exponentially every year. So it more than doubled last year, which was great. And so we think that the more people who know, the more people who want to try it. And what we're also finding is that when people try it, it's like over 2/3 of them want to find more VR, even despite the fact that even in home use, people don't think VR content is super compelling yet. So they're still waiting for that killer app. But Road to VR will probably inspire a lot of people. I mean, not Road to VR. Ready Player One. I don't know why I just mental jump there.
Because they will.
Yeah, okay.
How fast do you think is VR penetrating into the field of education?
Is VR penetrating into the field of education? It's tough to say. Probably not as fast as it should, honestly, just because schools don't usually have. Like, I'm just thinking of public schools. They don't usually have the budget to get VR, let alone the budget to additionally train their teachers. Here's this new technology, how do you use it? I know there's lots of programs going on to try and increase that incentive, but I mean, I think, California recently started, they want to get VR in at least 100 libraries, public libraries, just so they can get the public aware of it. So I think programs like that will probably need to increase first, and then we'll see school adoption.
Talk about Facebook Spaces.
For the Facebook Spaces.
Is it going to be the Vive or an Oculus?
Oculus. Just Oculus. So Facebook Space, I guess it's not quite LVVR, but I can talk about it a little bit. So Facebook Spaces is Facebook's alt space, but we'll probably do better since it's got Facebook behind it and there are billions and billions of dollars. So right now it runs on an Oculus Rift, but you don't need a Rift to actually use it, which is also part of their program, that I could log in my computer, see what the user with the Rift sees, get really jealous of VR, and go out and buy one. I think that's their thought.
You can use, what is it, Revive? Is that what you use to use, like, buy games on there?
Yes, Revive is a program that lets you play.
You can use that in Spaces.
Okay. Yeah, so they're keeping pretty good step with Oculus on that one. One more question, and then I'll let next video get up.
So why do you think the Asia-Pacific region has the biggest market, the VR market?
It's a variety of reasons. As I kind of hinted at, or said up there, it's a lot cheaper in Asia. It's also a huge population. Like Shanghai, 24 million people. I think Bangkok is like 20 million. So Tokyo, at least 10 million. They have high population centers. They're being very smart with their location placement. They're not charging a ton of money. And so consumers are just happy to go out and try it. All right, thanks guys. You were great. Thank you, Colin. I really appreciate you coming out and giving talks for Greenlight. Thanks.
So I actually do agree with you that I think Road to VR will inspire a lot of people. So if you don't know, Road to Rhythm Universe, they're demoing right over here. So it must have been just something back in mind. But if you haven't tried it, you definitely should. So I think it really is something that they put a lot of passion into. And they recently came out with a new video last week that has like over 10,000 views. So it's a very unique project. They'll tell you all about it. But definitely suggest you go try the demo. And so next we have our next speaker, next computing. So it doesn't look like they're ready just yet. So I can. Oh, right. Oh, you're ready? All right, cool. All right, here's Chris from Next Computing. Thanks.
Thank you very much. It's great. Tough act to follow.
You got it, man.
It's it's great. Actually, I try to get out to a lot of. This don't worry, it's not a comedy routine. I try to get out to a lot of VR meetup groups, and actually, this is very, very impressive. This is my first time here in Boston. The company I work for, Next Computing, we're based in Nashville, New Hampshire, not too far away. but maybe about an hour and a half, depending on the time of day. So we've been in business about 20 years, and for about the past 15 years, we've been very focused on commercial markets, including broadcast. So I'm just going to go through a very quick presentation. Is anybody familiar with Next Computing here? Okay, great. So for everybody else, here's a quick introduction. So this is, we do everything custom. We're a design manufacturer. We specialize in small form factor systems. But really the key is that we appreciate the business and we try to help solve problems as opposed to just building computers. So for example, we have custom bags. This is actually going into the NAB show in Las Vegas. And this actually, I do have Eye of the Tiger queued up. I'm not going to do it, but actually the system is in the back over there. This is actually a full tower workstation with an all-in-one form factor. Very slim, designed for deployment, designed to take the bumps and bruises on the road. It's perfect for VR development. It's perfect for VR playout. It's ideal. In this day and market, it's about who's going to get there first. Even you mentioned $1.2 billion in a couple of years. There's nobody that's established yet. So the key is speed to market. And you know, this is an example. Does anybody know what graphics card this is? This is the new one that just came out. It's the AMD Vega. So AMD actually is back on the map. You can see we're very close to AMD partners. And they've actually helped us to introduce the edge. We also work with, as I mentioned, we try to solve problems. We work with all the leading edge companies that are out there providing the software and the different solutions that it takes to make things easy on the artists and the creators and the developers. So Next Computing, for example, what we'll do is we'll bundle a lot of software and we'll highly tune things for optimization before we ship it out the door. This is something that really you're not going to get from HP or Dell or anybody else, and definitely not the form factor. So, and then also our exclusive reseller, B&H Photo in New York City. Just to give you a quick, very quick, brief background on Next Computing. We're out of the great state of New Hampshire, as I mentioned. We started off as a Spark solution provider, mainly selling to government. So over the years, we developed ruggedized solutions, very high performance, and we have the portable form factor. And then, as you can see, we started to get into different types, still small form factor, but specialized chassis. Then, after years of selling to the government, we started to see that the commercial market, there's our president, Levine, that everybody needs that performance. So actually, just recently we unveiled this system here, which is basically a workstation high-end, like HP Z840 equivalent. That's very small form factor, and it's basically customizable to whatever you want. So, one second. So basically at the NAB show, AMD was kind enough, he had HP, Dell, and then right in the middle was Next Computing. And Mix Master Mike from the Beastie Boys, he did a virtual reality experience. He actually went out and he was opening for Metallica right after that. But AMD's really, in our estimation, Intel and NVIDIA, they're focused on self-driving cars and different types of things, but AMD's squarely focused on VR. They're putting a lot of money into it, and they're really trying to push the medium. So we're doing everything we can to support them. Our systems, we're one of the first manufacturers where you can get a Threadripper, which is a brand new processor. Is anybody familiar with that? It's basically half the cost of Intel, but you get a lot more performance actually. So I'm going to, since we have our good friends Boris FX here, I'm just going to fly through. There is, again, we're going to have demos in the booth up there, so you can see the Mix Master Mic experience if you want. We also have other systems a little bit larger form factor. These are used for capture, live streaming, for VR, and we work with a lot of the camera manufacturers because we need to get that data off the camera and onto the network. So it's a really sweet spot for us. We have servers. This is another one. Considering putting it in. You can see we also work with Taurus Media. They're also in the stabilization, camera tracking for 360. And very interestingly, you mentioned about the designers and the ABC, the architectural. We actually have a close partnership with Wacom, so we're going to have some bundle deals coming out soon based on their Cintiq tablets. The systems, for some reason, they're just unexplainably fast. Just take my word for it. If you're interested, if you're in the market for a workstation, you can't go wrong. So this one we're doing, this is special for the Boston VR group. We got special pricing.
thought it wasn't a comedy yet.
That's it, right? Okay. So we got this one here, 4113. Get through this here, 367. That's all without the screen. We've really been trying to get out there. Those are some of our partners. And here, without further ado, is Boris FX. These guys have the technology that really rocks the map. We have a close partnership with them, so if you're interested in their software, please consider our hardware as well.
Can you switch this one over? While that's happening, I'll just say hello and thanks to everyone for coming out tonight, and thanks to Boston VR for having us. My name is Ross Shane, and I work with Boris FX. Boris FX has been in the video industry for almost 20 years. Okay. We basically make software, commercial software for film, for post-production, so editors, visual effects. My team was actually, we made a product called Mocha, and Boris FX bought our company 3 years ago. Mocha is a really kick-ass motion tracking system. In fact, we won an Academy Award 3 years ago, Side Tech Award for our technology. It's been used on countless films, but if you think about like Harry Potter and the kids running around Hogwarts, and you have all these moving paintings behind all the actors, we basically built Mocha with some of the visual effects companies that worked on the early Harry Potter films. Our software has been used on tons of visual effects films, as well as TV shows. And what I'm kind of excited to show you guys is we recently created Mocha VR. So it's a visual effects tool for 360 filmmakers. And this is a really interesting thing, because I know obviously VR, AR, it's a component, but 360 in some ways it's like the gateway drug to VR. Because think of all the video editing in cameras. There's so many available 360 cameras these days, and there's really not that many tools to actually edit or do anything with the 360. So I'm just going to give you a quick idea of what we do. We actually license software to Adobe, and it's called Mocha. It's a Mocha AE, which is found inside of After Effects. But I'm just going to kind of really quickly show you how this works. Before I get into 360, I'm just going to show you, here's a clip in After Effects. And I'm going to launch Mocha and just kind of show you the way this works. Basically, this clip, there's lots of green, it's out of focus. It's the kind of thing that would be very difficult to track. And if you guys don't know what motion tracking is, we're basically analyzing the pixel patterns, the movement of the video file. Okay, and so we track through this, even though it's like out of focus. And that's the kind of thing that's very, very difficult for tracking. People would never really think, if any of you have done any visual effects or editing in general, you see these pixels right here, that light, you can see how that light is out of focus. I'm just going to draw a shape around there, and I'm going to go ahead and hit track. And you'll see that we can track objects as they move through the screen really, really easily and very, very robust. And so why is that important to 360? Why am I even babbling about motion tracking? You'll see that we developed some very core advanced algorithms for motion tracking, and it's very important for lots of 360 video tasks. Okay, so I'm going to put out here and just show you another quick example here. I'm running this inside Adobe After Effects, but we also have a standalone application. We have a plugin for Avid. We have a plugin for various different hosts. This is a stitched video file. And this is called equirectangular, if you don't know. So the pixels from, it's stitched. The pixels on the nadir at the bottom are very distorted. Pixels at the top are very distorted. If I'm a graphic artist, I don't want to deal and work in this distorted space. So Mocha VR basically has a nice little workflow here where stuff to do. A lot of the stuff I do with keystrokes with 2 hands and mic. But here I have access to the 360 space. So if I'm the artist, I'd much rather work in this rectilinear view than in this distorted view. If we touch this shape right here, and just hit play here, you'll see that masking is actually really at the heart of lots of post-production. And as the shape hits the seam, it's actually going to come back on the other side. Okay, so we've developed tools like that. I can save this, and then I can basically convert this data very easily into a native mask for any host. So now I've isolated those. So this is like at the heart of visual effects and post-production. isolating objects, then I want to apply color correction or blur objects or do things. That's masking, basically. So we have 360 optimized masking tools, very, very powerful. Just a quick example of why that might be interesting is like, here there's a woman in a hallway, but we want to isolate her to apply visual effects. So what we're doing is we're taking these visual effects tools that have been used for years by filmmakers, and we're optimizing them for 360 because we really want to see the content creators creating high-end, very interesting content. Our tools are actually being used a lot right now in journalism as well. So you're seeing in the 360 world that the whole empathetic journalism aspect is a really big thing. So the New York Times, for example, big leader in 360 video right now. They're posting a original 360 video every single day on NewYorkTimes.com, and they're using Mocha VR in their pipeline. A little bit more advanced is an example here, where the same woman walking down the hallway, and just show you here, if I pan down, this is actually the camera. So that was a camera that was on a remote control, because these 360 filmmakers and content creators, they want to create immersive experience. When you have your headset on and you look down, you don't want to see the camera, right? So our tools actually can automatically remove objects. This is sort of like if you're familiar with the Adobe tools, like content aware on steroids, is what I like to call it. And the way that this works is that we use our tracking tools. So the floor here has been tracked. And then what we do is we can select an object, and we're using temporal frames. So actually the clean areas are there in time. The clean areas are right here and before and after. And if I go ahead and just hit this render button, let's say it's right now it's computing and analyzing. So we're starting to actually remove the floor. And this is remove the camera from the shot. This is the kind of thing that I could kind of, as a former visual effects artist, this could take me a whole day just to kind of come up with a particular composite and technique to do this kind of stuff. So it automates many, many tasks and saves quite a lot of time. And this is one of probably the most popular things that we've seen with Mocha VR. And I'm going to show you one last thing. And I'd love for you guys, anyone who's interested in 360 video, my system's right over there, and happy to show you lots of fun things. I'm going to show you this one last thing, which is another popular thing and why tracking is important for 360 video. Show you this clip right here. All right, so we have this guy here, and he is on a skateboard. And if I was going to look at this file in a headset view, I would be kind of like, let's look at him for a second. He's actually wearing a selfie stick. It's like a stabilized camera, so that's kind of great. We could look at him. But if I turn around in my headset view and look down the road where he's looking, I'm going to get nauseous. I'm going to take the headset off, and I tell all my friends, hey, VR is, it's not fun, right? So, and that's a scary thought, right, for this industry, because there's so many of these cheap cameras and so much content that's, so much of this 360 content that might be considered amateur. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this Mocha VR tool to do very, very quick stabilization. So we basically just track this area. Again, it's super, super robust tracking. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this orient tool, kind of like a really nice, simple interface that we built. This red line represents the horizon. All right, so say that's the horizon, and then I can basically go boom, and we're going to stabilize based on the tracking data. So we're stabilizing the spherical video to be much, much more watchable. And that's, 360 stabilization. That's another very important feature or thing to think about when you're shooting 360 video. So again, I really appreciate your time and try and get everything back on schedule. Ross Chain, Forest Specs, our parent company. The software you're seeing is called Mocha VR. And if there is anyone interested in the software, come by for a demo. And we also, I can share some coupon codes for discounts and stuff like that. So thanks a lot for your time.
Can you answer questions?
Yeah. I'm happy to answer questions.
I just want to know how much of Mocha is running on versus the CPU?
Okay, that's a good question. So MOCA has always been a CPU-based software. We come from computer vision, but we actually last year we did our first release where we put more on the GPU. So the tracking itself is running on the GPU. The remove module, which I just showed, that is CPU, but the next version we're actually working on this right now is a GPU remove.
Just really quick follow
Yeah.
that horizon correction is incredible. And with like so many little cheap cameras coming out, did you ever think of making that a web service just by itself?
We've thought about a lot of different things. Yeah, we've thought about a lot of different things. It's definitely, people over the years always have seen our tracking technology, and they're interested in doing lots of things that we all come from visual effects, but it's interesting to see different uses for the technology. We do have a SDK, so someone can do it. Any other questions? All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Awesome, thanks. So the next step is just to enjoy the demos and go around the network. And I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Give a thank you again to the CIC, to Next Computing, OSVR, and Greenlight Insights. And just thanks again for everyone coming out. So let's go demos one more time. So go to VR over here. And we have infinite stores right behind this middle room. Jason, can you see that getting a light back there? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Link to VR over here, and Next Computing will be over here in the corner.
And eScan.
And then the eScan. Yeah, and then the eScan gesture tracking is over here in this back corner. All right. So yeah, go ahead, and I think wait, I think I want to make the pieces all. That's amazing.